You said you don't want to talk about this. You just spun away from a question I asked you, and you brought this up. You haven't even addressed the question I asked you.
Let me
Wait
finish.
a minute.
We'll get to the
point that I
illegal
asked. Let's go back to what I asked you. I asked you a question that the money that's going in, Americans prove that they don't trust the government getting the money than free market, free enterprise.
I don't think that's the case.
You never addressed that.
I don't think that's the case. People love Social Security. People love.
Patrick Bet David brought on this woke idiot Sam Seder onto his show, the PBD Podcast, here on the Valuetainment YouTube channel. And of course, as you probably could have guessed, things got really heated between PBD and Sam Seder here live on the PBD Podcast. Let's get into this clip here where Patrick Bet David shuts down this woke idiot Sam Seder for these ridiculous statements that he was making to his face here live on the PBD Podcast.
Feel about the illegal immigrants that came those 4 years.
I will get to illegal.
You don't care about those people.
I will get to the undocumented.
You cared about children.
But you don't want to talk about this, and I don't blame you because it's embarrassing.
No. But let me do a quick time out.
Every one of those Social Security numbers.
Do a quick time out here. Sam, let me just do a quick time out. You said you don't want to talk about this. You just spun away from a question I asked you, and you brought this up. You haven't even addressed the question I asked you.
Let me finish. We'll get to the
point that I
illegal
asked. Let's go back to what I asked you. I asked you a question that the money that's going in, Americans prove that they don't trust the government getting the money than free market, free enterprise.
I don't think that's the case.
You never addressed that.
I don't think that's the case. People love Social Security. People love Medicare.
Expenditure. What we learned with DOGE. The American people said, Sam, enough of you taking our tax money and see what you're doing with it.
Elon Musk made that Wisconsin election of a referendum on DOGE. To the extent that we've seen anybody vote on DOGE, nobody heard the word DOGE before November of last year. To the extent that we've seen a referendum on DOGE, it just happened in Wisconsin. It happened in Florida, where the size of the win by those Republican congressmen was cut by 17, 20 points. I mean, this is a wipeout. And every Republican, you're going to see a difference in Republican lawmakers over the next year and a half, because anybody who was in a plus Trump 8 district or less is now starting to go like, wait a second. That's why Musk is being shown the door, supposedly. So getting back to my point about those Social Security numbers, they were given all to legal non-citizens. And every one of those cards, you can't vote, because I think you definitely said, and I think maybe you said, that this is a Democratic strategy to get voters. Hold on for a second. The Social Security card that they get literally says not legitimate for voting purposes. It is so that these non-citizens who are legal, just like when you came in, pay into the Social Security system and get, many of them never get that money back. So in addition to the undocumented immigrants who pay in $22 billion a year into Social Security and get zero back, these people pay several $billion in a year, and only if they become citizens, which most of them won't. Most of them will go back home over a period of time. They're here for temporary protected status. Maybe some of them are refugees and they get permanent citizenship. They won't get that money either. So every single thing of that video, this video here, was completely wrong that you guys did. It was fascinating to me because I feel like you, at the very least, I believe that you care about the information you're putting out. And this was all wrong. And
so they're up there. So Sam, this is all a lie. These guys were up there just completely bullshitting with all the numbers. Where he's saying that people in the government are blowing the whistles. He didn't want to say their names. He was giving them praise. And for Sam, for you to say that you care about the kids and the labor and all that stuff. We've had an open border for 4 years, and all the illegals, way more than 10 million, have come into this country. California, is that where you live?
No.
Where do you live?
I live in New York.
Okay, great. Even better. California. So the amount of money that we spent on illegals with housing and all that shit, and Gavin Newsom passing a law that you don't even need an ID to vote. You're saying that we're coming up with where these people aren't coming in for the votes? That's the main goal of this whole thing.
What else could it be? Like, if Sam Seder is looking Patrick Bet David and Vinny and everybody else here on the PBD podcast in the eye and saying they're not letting in all of these illegal immigrants in droves so that they can win elections, so that the illegals will vote for them, then I would love to hear his reasoning. Like, what does Sam Seder genuinely believe the reasoning is? Do you think that it's out of the kindness of their own heart? Like, obviously that's not the case, because if they were that kind, then they wouldn't be neglecting the veterans and things like that they are neglecting in favor of, you know, having these illegal immigrants be housed and fed and everything like that. So it's not out of the kindness of their own heart. We all know that politicians are not kind, and they don't care at all about the people that they govern over. Most of them, 99% of them, just like to hold power. So that's not the reason. What is the reason? Do they genuinely just want to see the downfall of the country? That they hate the country that much that they're letting in all these criminals and these illegal immigrants into the country just to see the downfall of the country and the downfall of the Western world? Like, is it maybe somebody a puppet master pulling the strings who genuinely does want to see the downfall of the Western world so that they can rule over what rises from the downfall? Like, what is Sam Seder's reasoning behind this? I would love to hear it, but I would highly doubt that Sam Seder does tell Patrick Bet-David what his reasoning is for this.
Was open border for? Why was the border open for 4 years? Answer me that question.
First of all, the border was not open.
Give me are you kidding me? Look at the. What do you mean the border wasn't open? Are you? Hold on. Did you smoke before you came in here?
This?
That's ridiculous.
By the way, Vinny, here's the part.
You're full of it, bro.
Here's the part.
Get out of here,
Sam. Here's the part. When I hear this, okay.
Anybody can look at that video. The things you were saying yesterday was a complete sack of lies or just misinformation.
Be honest with me.
Immigration year over year over year. Type in illegal immigration year over year.
The fact that you're saying the border wasn't wide open. How many deaths have happened? How many fentanyl deaths have happened per year while your freaking president Joe Biden was in office? How many Americans died just from fentanyl, and you're saying the border wasn't wide open? We've had the most illegal entry in 4 years in the history of the country.
Dude.
This is why. Let me finish. And this is why your party sucks. This is why your party is at 29% approval. 20%. Because you got 20. Thank you. Because all you guys do is talk shit and just go anti-Trump. You have no policies. You guys have no vision. You have no leaders. You're talking about oligarchs and you hate the oligarchs. Where do you think Bernie Sanders and AOC are going to get their money from? Their donors. Don't lie to yourself. For you to look and by the way, you're talking about yesterday we lied.
AOC and Bernie Sanders don't take
Hold on, ready for this?
People.
You're saying that we lied 2 days ago. You just lied, and you're going to look like a fool that the border wasn't wide open. Look at this chart. What does that chart say to you? So what is that? What did Trump, when Trump was in, he was trying to close it, but your party was fighting it. It's unbelievable how many illegals have come in the past 100 days.
But this is the part to just be very, just show the data. Illegal immigration, this is Wall Street Journal, is a bigger problem than ever.
Oh, no, that's
These
fake
five
news.
charts explain why. Go a little bit lower. That's under Biden.
Trump got shot trying to show these charts, literally.
This is October of 2023. Go to the next one.
A guy who was registered Republican.
Here's another one.
Hold on, can I address what
let me just show the data, and then I want you to say what you want to say. Go a little bit lower with the data, Ron. No, because he said it's inaccurate. This is another one here.
Okay, well, go back up. Go back up to the.
And then go to the last one, Rob. Go to the last one, Rob.
Go to the top one here.
I mean, this is the numbers you're talking about.
Charts.
So this is you can
start one by one. Go up.
Explain every one of them. Go for it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you can see that this is what constitutes illegal immigration. These are, if it was an open border, you would not have had a problem in Haiti as the country has fallen apart. You had people from Ukraine coming in because of, obviously, the invasion. These are all under temporary protected status. They all got Social Security numbers so they could pay taxes into our government and not necessarily get the services back.
Yes, and vote for Democrats.
No, they can't vote.
Right.
Those Social Security cards literally say on the card, say you can't use this for voting.
AOC said we don't have an illegal immigration problem. We have a documentation problem. That's what AOC said. So this is not something new. You know how when you talk about who's better at gerrymandering, who's better at gerrymandering, the left or the right?
Republicans seem to be better at that.
The Republicans are much better.
I agree. Guess what? So it's not like they can fight it and say, no, we're not. That's their reputation. They have it. They're better at gerrymandering. Strategically, they're better at doing that. But for you to sit here...
I don't have a problem
May I make my point?
Let
me make my point.
Yeah.
When you sit here and you watch yourself, when you're saying these policies and you spew out these policies, what the average person does, they'll watch it, and if they've already outgrown it, because today the problem with, folks, content creators have today is the following. Say we say something on a video, and we're wrong. you know what others will do? They'll react to it and they'll say stuff to it. And if we're right, they'll keep coming to us to want to hear more of it because they'll say, at least you sound reasonable. And they'll say, you know, I want to hear what John has to say. I want to hear what Joe has to say. I want to hear what Megan has to say. I want to hear what, you know, whoever these people are that are giving ideas out there want to say, right? But when you keep saying stuff that others are able to tear apart so many times that a liberal, a former liberal watches that maybe was a viewer of you and says, how can Sam not see this and outgrow it? He is still stuck on this policy that's been proven. Americans don't want to pay more taxes to a government that wastes their taxes. How does he not see that? How does he keep pushing this agenda back and forth? Then you lose an audience, and the people you keep is the following. Here's who you end up keeping. You end up keeping an audience that makes you think you're right, but that's not always the case. You keep an audience that, of course, hates rich people. Rich people are bad people, and they're probably not making a lot of money, and they come to Sam to save them. Hey, let's trash and bash rich people because this is what we got to do. Yes, Sam, let's go after the rich. We want 1 million people to sport the Future Looks Bright gear. We are getting very close to it.
Yeah, that's spot on, and that's exactly what's happened to everybody on the left wing who hasn't adjusted to the current climate, right? There's people like Anna Kasparian. There's people like Cenk Uygur, Anna Kasparian, people like Bill Maher who have adjusted, and they've, you know, I don't know if they're just being opportunists or if they're genuinely having change of hearts or whatever the case might be. But then there's also people like David Pakman, who's not as bad as someone like Destiny. But then there's Sam Seder, Destiny, Emma Vigeland, those sorts of people who haven't shifted at all towards the center. They're actually going further and further left every single day. And it's a result of audience capture, you know, and you guys know what audience capture is. But for anyone who doesn't, it's basically when you get rewarded by your audience for saying something. So let's say, for example, you're in Sam Seder's position. Every single time you say something that's more and more radically left wing, you get rewarded for it by your audience with more views, more positive comments, whatever. Well, then every single video, you're basically getting trained like a dog does with treats, right? Every single video, you want to say something more and more radically left wing, because you know that it got you positive responses last time. It got you more money. It got you more views. So you want to continue doing that over and over again. And eventually you just get so unhinged. And now, you know, they're forced to make a decision. These people like Sam Seder, they're forced to make a decision. Do they want to start to become more common sense centric, like Anna Kasparian, Bill Maher, those sorts of people? Or do they want to just continue to exist in an echo chamber, knowing that they're wrong, knowing that they have no common sense in their takes, but they're going to continue to exist in this echo chamber, and there's an audience for that for sure. And that's the decision that Sam Seder and Emma Vigeland have decided to make. They're just existing in their echo chamber. They're not going to look outside. They're not going to search for truth. They're not going to do any of these things, you know? And it's sad to see, but it is what it is. At least we're able to just see it for what it is. You know, these people, they've chosen money and viewership and easy, you know, exploitation of an echo chamber over searching for the truth. That really is what's happened. That's exactly what Patrick Bet-David just laid out there. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this whole Patrick Bet-David versus Sam Seder situation. Who do you think came out on top? To me, it's pretty obvious. I'm pretty sure everybody in the comments will agree as well. Patrick Bet-David absolutely wiped the floor, and so did Vinny. Vinny went in on Sam Seder as well. But let me know in the comments what you guys think about this whole Patrick Bet-David versus Sam Seder situation here live on the PBD podcast and the Valuetainment YouTube channel.